we are going to have nonstop rate cuts for a long time. I think that's what they are debating, whether this is the time to do it or wait a little bit longer. But there are many people that feel like these jumbo rate cuts are going to put us on a soft landing, which is good. And there are a lot of other countries that are trying to do the same thing. Like China. They are trying to make sure that they have a soft landing too, and that their economy starts rising once again. Now, why this is important? Because obviously the US economy and Chinese economy is like 1 and 2, right? And both are vital, and we want to see both thrive. And whenever we see stimulus packages, either now in China or the US, you see a big price pump, okay? It happens every single time. When we have liquidity flowing, that's what happens. People get richer. Businesses start hiring more and spending more, right? And when there's excess cash, guess what people do with it? They go spend and buy things, okay? Now, non-investors, what do they go buy? They go buy assets that depreciate, okay? But the smart investors, like you and me and everyone else that's in crypto, we buy assets that appreciate, like Bitcoin and other crypto, right? So just to prove my point, last few times we saw big stimulus packages, you could see that Bitcoin rose up quite nicely from about 35,000 to about 40,000. And then the last one brought us from 40,000 to 73,000, 74,000. So if we're going to get a next stimulus, this time maybe from China, not the US, but in the US, of course, we're getting our own stimulus with the rate cuts. Are we going to see Bitcoin at a new high right around the corner? It's definitely happening. It's just a matter of when, not if. And we know that the most bullish month is right around the corner. This is beautiful. I got to thank Crypto Rover for making this stand out and pop out. UpTober is only a week away, and all the signs, all the indicators are flashing upwards, right? This reversal that's bringing us higher, right? So that is absolutely fantastic. Now, something else that's coming out of China is this. Mike Novogratz and others have heard for a long time that China is going to unban Bitcoin and Bitcoin trading in mainland, which is very significant because right now in Hong Kong, they already allow it. You can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think Avalanche and Chainlink. I think there's 4 crypto that you can buy and sell, but that's only in Hong Kong. There's 1.4 billion people in China that are not able to do so right now. Okay, considering that China has now turned pro-crypto, right? They can be opening up. And then imagine that. Imagine the, the influx of users and money that can be coming into the market if they open up and they make it legal for people to trade Bitcoin and crypto. And this also relates too because China has a really deep relationship with Russia, and we know Russia's turning pro-crypto. Russia has legalized Bitcoin mining, and they're also trying to get off the USD standard. So what are they doing? They're turning pro-crypto, and they're doing a lot of business with China. So it makes sense that China itself also turns very pro-crypto. In fact, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but slowly over time, they have now more than 55% of the hash rate again. Once upon a time, it was dominant. Okay, like the hash rate was like 70% in China. And then the Chinese government made a mistake and decided to push them all out. And guess where they ended up? In the US. And then China decided, oh boy, that was a mistake. We had control. Why did we lose control? So they slowly let them back in, and this is kind of staggering. US now controls 40%. China controls 55%. So obviously, they have been, these are pools, by the way, not actually controlled by China, by the people, but still, you can figure that they do control a lot of these pools. So it makes sense that China is going all in on Bitcoin, right? Remember, I speculated that at one point in time in the future, right now there's kind of like there's like a hoarding war going on between the countries for gold. All these countries around the world are just hoarding gold. It's going to get to a point where they do the same thing with Bitcoin. But when they start doing that with Bitcoin, it's going to be very different because you can't mine more. There's the amount that gets released per day is set in stone. And there's a finite limit, unlike gold, where they could start just like trying to dig more, trying to find more, right? There's always more ways to increase the supply. Once they start really getting into this hoarding war with the US and with other countries, man, watch out. That's when Bitcoin will be $1 million plus and will never stop. And it'll just keep on going. That's why even now you can stack sats at a reasonable price. I won't say cheap price, at a reasonable price. Because in the future, just getting like 0.1 or 0.01 Bitcoin is going to cost you nearly as much as it's going to cost you a whole Bitcoin now. So think about that. Think about it. And, outside of countries, we know that it's not just countries. We have institutions, right? We have the most powerful people on Wall Street, the most powerful companies on Wall Street. They are also looking to get in. They're looking to hoard now. They're not looking to hoard later. They're doing it now. Bitwise CIO says the most powerful people in finance are allocating to Bitcoin and crypto. We know that. Just look at ETF inflows. ETF inflows are massive. Tens of billions already. And will continue to grow.